Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at our lineup. We'll be starting off with cricket and the news that the West Indies and Pakistan ODI series has now been shifted to Multan. Preparations are underway at the Multan Cricket Stadium, including all arrangements of security, logistics, parking, and the routes being planned as well. The ODI series will, of course, commence there now on the 5th of June. The first ODI is going to take place on the 8th. Then we have another match that will take place and then another. So 3-1 internationals that will take place there. In other news, Pakistan have beaten Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the women cricket series that was being played in Karachi. It's been a superb, outstanding performance again by the girls in green. You talk about their performance. They chased the target of 170 with relative ease on the loss of just 2 wickets, winning the match by 8 wickets. And of course, Tuba Hassan being declared player of the match. Useful batting contributions were there from Bisma and Nida, and Pakistan of course now lead the 3-match series 1-0. After that, we'll be talking about basketball in Pakistan. There's some great news as a number of events have been scheduled for this year. Veterans Memorial Basketball Tournament has been postponed. The future of basketball in Pakistan will also be discussed. We've got great talent when it comes to the university and especially on the college side. Unlike other sports which have failed to establish themselves at the grassroots level, basketball has got a lot of popularity on the college and university level. So I think all in all, we've got some great things to witness this year when we talk about some major tournaments. And then of course we'll be talking about tennis, and in tennis it was the big match of the Roland Garros, the French Open. It was Rafael Nadal against Novak Djokovic, an epic encounter, and Nadal's dominance of course continued on clay as he beat Djokovic. Elsewhere, Alexander Zverev overcame Alcaraz to book a semi-final spot. Nadal is going to face Alexander Zverev in the semi-final, and then of course we've got another 2 quarterfinals today to decide the lineup of the second semi-final. But the big match was Nadal versus Djokovic. Nadal winning the first set, Djokovic taking the second, Nadal making a comeback in the third, and the fourth set going down to the very last game and Nadal clinching that as well. An outstanding display. It was the 2 stalwarts of tennis who were up against each other. We'll be discussing that in detail as well. Starting the show off with cricket, of course, and we've been joined in studios with cricket commentator and cricket expert Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Wa alaikum assalam, I'm good, Ahmed, thank you.
Right, so the news is that on the days the ODI series is going to take place, the temperature is going to fluctuate from 40 to 50 degrees. So a lot to look up to.
Yes, same here. Even if we are sitting in the studios, definitely our emotions will be definitely going high. And same in the stadium, because, you know, whenever we talk about that you are playing cricket in Pakistan in June, July, won't be an easy task, honestly, as this is what Babar Azam, the captain of Pakistan, he said, yes, fine, we do know that the situations, you know, especially the weather is not friendly.
Unforgiving.
Yes, and even then, but we are preparing ourselves. And his body language was quite amazing, and after a long time, I've seen him so confident, and he was.
Asif, I wanted to discuss this with you in detail, because what I felt is that because he got some time off from cricket, spent some time, went for his religious obligations as well for Umrah, and you know, had time away from cricket. He's been playing so much cricket. That really helps a player as well, especially when you're a young captain growing.
Yeah, that's right. You know that you have taken a break and you went, you didn't go for the county cricket, and you spent some time with your family. It's really important, you know, because you know, he was so happy that now we are COVID-free, and this time no obligations, and there are no biosecure bubble, so we'll be enjoying ourselves. It's good. And when I was talking about his body language and his confidence and the way he was answering to the questions, especially the journalists, has been amazing, because I do remember his early on is when he have taken a charge as a captain, and his confidence was a question mark. But you know, by time he's learning, and that of course, you know, that the rest of the staff, coaching staff and the managerial staff, especially chairman cricket board, he's supporting him at all. And he has said in his press conference as well that yes, if you want results, then I want some freedom in my decisions. This is what he said. So I think good, and captain is looking confident, and he is ready to play in June against Wendy's. And you know that the guys coming all the way from Wendy's, they will definitely face this hot weather. But I think that we'll be watching good cricket.
Good cricket indeed. And to talk more on this, we've been joined on Sports Extra by cricket expert and coach Syed Mohammad Awais. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum Salam, Ahmed. How are you?
I'm great. So, Avais, as we're discussing that it's going to be very hot temperatures there. But as far as our skipper is concerned, he was captain cool today in his press conference as well.
It's going to be a hot temperature, Multan. Like I guess it's 50 plus degrees right now. I mean, so it's going to be really hot, and you're going to be playing the matches in June. So, but obviously, it's I would say a good days for Pakistan because you want cricket back in Pakistan, whatever the things are, whatever the temperature is, and a good thing to see that you have got a new venue over here, Multan Cricket Stadium, to be played. Unfortunately, again, bad news for the Pindi boys that you won't have matches over here, but good for the Multan crowd, I would say, and. Babar Azam looked good. I mean, because I remember I was looking at even the practice session of him because my colleagues are there who have just recently done level 2 in the NC and they were practicing with him, and he looked good with the body language. When you were discussing even where he came back from Umrah and now he looks relaxed over here because he has been away from cricket activities. So he looks relaxed over here. It would be an important series for Pakistan because it's the One Day World Championship coming up. So obviously Pakistan would want this to have winning on the higher note. But one thing again, I would say, I don't know whether you both would agree with me or not, but I really wanted some changes, the new faces in the Pakistan team because in Pakistan conditions, obviously this is your home conditions, and you try to get new faces over here to include it in the team. But unfortunately, you have gone with the senior campaigners because looking at the schedule of Pakistan or the world cricket right now coming up, you have got a tight schedule. You have got Pakistan versus West Indies, then you got the Asia Cup, then you got the World Cup, then you got the Sri Lanka. If I'm not wrong, I guess Sri Lanka series is Netherlands series is coming up. So it's a tight schedule for you, and you obviously want the senior campaigners or the like the guy like Shaheen Shah Afridi to get injured. So it's really careful for Pakistan how they handle the fast bowling lineup and how they handle the guys who are actually the main faces of Pakistan team.
Definitely, that is the case. But Asif, as our skipper also said, that in cricket, no opposition should be taken lightly. And West Indies are going to be coming in form because they had a fantastic match against the Netherlands, which they won, and their skipper, Shai Hope, scoring a century.
That's right, but I would like to make a comment on what Awais said, that we want new faces. Of course, that it's a really brave decision if you're coming up with the younger side and giving chance. Of course, Awais, we both are with you. We had a long discussion concerning this, and after that, what we thought that we are not aggressive by our brain, by our mind, and we're just following that. What happened if, let's suppose, if we are losing against Windies with junior guys? So whenever you are going and you're just thinking about your defeat, of course that you cannot get good results. And cricket is always about braveness, and this is what Australian taught to all the world, but I think we're not ready to learn. Now your question that, yes, of course that when you are playing any side, either it's a Windies or it's in Netherlands, you'll play definitely your positive cricket, and you will come up with 100% energy. So I think Babar Azam, as I said earlier, that looks so confident, and being a captain, it does matter that either your body language and the way you are behaving out the field, in the field, apart from cricket, what you are doing, because we always say that it's all about your cricket. Either you sleep cricket, eat cricket. So it does matter with the captaincy. So he looks confident, and what he said concerning that we're not taking easy these games, that's right. And don't think that the young Windies sides, because they that after Karen Pollardo, if you talk about Bravo and their other seniors players, if they're not in the side, even then they're really good white ball cricketers. So we can't take easy.
Can't take them easy. And Awais, of course, we've got problems of our own to address. We know that in one-day cricket, Pakistan has a problem with its middle order. Pakistan has still not been able to answer that question, where if there is a collapse, we tend to lose the game when it comes to one days. Of course, T20, we're a fantastic side, but one day still need a lot of working.
Ahmed bhai, you rightly pointed out. I know that we remember just 1 or 2, 3 years back. I mean, we used to speak about that. We don't have any opener for Pakistan one-day team or the T20 team, and now it's a good sign that you have got at least 6 to 7 openers who are ready to battle with each other to be in the Pakistan team. That's a good sign for you. The real concern for me is the middle order, and the real concern is down the order where you need a power hitting batsman for you. We have tried many faces. Asif was good in the recently concluded T20 World Cup, but he is one of the batsmen I would say who's actually on and off. I mean, not consistently scoring runs for you. Remember, if Iftikhar came up, I mean, he had scored runs for you, but not what you want as a power hitter in the Pakistan team. So this is the point I'm speaking on, that your opening department looks good, but your middle order does not have that kind of players who can actually build up your innings when the innings Khuda na khasta gets collapsed on the early on. You need someone in the middle order, like what Hafiz or Shoaib Malik used to play a role for you. What I remember, even like an anchor role, I would say, and especially when you go down the order, you have tried Khush Dil Shah. He has performed for you. You had tried Iftikhar, I said. You tried many faces over there, but still you need a power hitting slot who can actually convert that 6 or 7 runs to 11 or 12 runs per over. In the last of the 10 overs, I would say Pakistan has been in the one days. If you speak, Pakistan really has been lacking that power hitting who can score more runs for in the last 5 or 10 overs. So Pakistan really will have to worry about a middle order and down the order whom they play on. Would they try to make some changes in above the order? Will Babar Azam come to bat down the order? That would be a really interesting point for me.
That's an interesting point. Yes, Asif. Yes,
Can I
yes,
make a
please.
comment? And if you allow me, I'll ask this question too. As we always talk about that Asif Ali is a really good smasher. When we talk about that in the finishing, either you're winning or losing the match. If you're a good smasher, if you're not a good finisher, then what happened? One thing. And the second thing, being a coach, because you're a coach, and I want to ask you this question, that what's wrong with Asif Ali? Why coaches are not working with him? Because you are telling us that, and everyone knows that he's not consistent with his performance. So what's wrong with his? Either the mindset, or I think that he gave up, that I cannot learn.
See, one thing, Asif bhai, that's a good question. I mean, Ahmed bhai and Asif bhai, when you're working with a player, I mean, I have always been in this favor that you work on a player when he's at the age of learning process. That's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. When he's at the age of, I would say 28, 29, 30, that's not a learning phase. That's a phase where he has built up himself, what he was and what he has been coming through. There you can just correct him. You can speak to him that you don't need to play this kind of a shot. You don't need to play that kind of a shot. I can quote you an example. Still, Babar Azam, he's one of the world-class batsmen. Still now, you can ask any high-performance center coach over there. Whenever he comes to bat on, he still plays with a stationary ball and plays that cover drives. I mean, 100 or 200 balls, just cover drives. He's one of the best cover drive batsmen in the world. But still, he plays that. He tries to bring some improvisation in it. That's where you speak to your mind. You learn what mistakes you're doing on. It's to the players that they really need to speak to themselves that what I'm doing, I'm not a 20-30 runs player. I need to play a big innings what Pakistan team want from me. I'm a pinch hitter. I need to convert that 6 or 7 strike run to 10 or 11 runs per over, but I need to speak again after every ball. I need to speak to myself. I need to calm down. It's not important that you go for every, I would say, to clear the boundary. The real important thing is that you rotate the strike. What Pakistan has been lacking down the order. If you remember, when Asif Ali even has been batting on, you don't rotate the strike. What Rizwan does for T20 in the opening stance with Babar Azam, that creates a pressure on the other team. That's what Pakistan has been lacking on. I remember Ahmed bhai and you both. There was a vacancy called power hitting coach for Pakistan, but I have never seen that recently being filled out or someone for the job, because Matthew Hayden was very favourite for it, because everyone's speaking about Matthew Wade, what he had improvised in the Pakistan T20 squad. So you need someone, I would say, who can actually back you up. But again, it's the backup of your team, it's the backup of your captain, how he handles you in that kind of scenario, that whatever happens, you're a permanent part of the Pakistan team. But what we need from you, you need to improvise that in the cricket.
Definitely. On a lighter note, maybe Saeed Ajmal Bhai can apply there as well. Science can always come into perspective. But that's on a lighter note. That being said, the ODIs are going to take place in Multan. Coming to the women's side now, our girls in green have won the first one-day against Sri Lankan women by 8 wickets. They chased down the target of 170 with relative ease, and just 2 wickets was the loss that they went through, but 8 wickets they kept in hand and won this match as well. So Asif, the form continues in one days as well.
That's right. When we talk about that, our women cricketers, they are performing really well, and they had done so nice in T20 cricket, but in ODI, I had a concern. But after watching today's game, I'm so happy because the way they performed in bowling. Talk about bowlers. Ghulam Fatma, she got 4 wickets, and she remained the player of the match as well. And later on, if you talk about batting, which is a concern that and the captain, she came up with confidence, and she stayed there till the end of the game, which is really important, and she went not out. Sidra Amin is a batter. I always like her. She got a really good technique, and she's the only player which is playing and performing consistently in ODIs. And yes, she remained unlucky in recent past in the World Cup, but if you talk about her batting, and if you watched her innings today, there wasn't any hairy-fairy shots, and you know that the strike rate was under 100, even 70, 80. Even
Asif, if you allow me, let me just interrupt you for one bit. Let's just go towards a very short break, but we'll be right back and we'll continue the discussion regarding our women's cricket. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're talking about our girls in green who have won the first one-day against Sri Lankan women by 8 wickets, chased a target of 170 with relative ease, and Ghulam Fatma, the player of the match, picking up figures of 4 for 21 in her 10 overs. So Awais, what would you like to add? It's a good omen. One days we're performing as well.
A good sign for Pakistan. I mean, the way they performed in the previous concluded series just now with Sri Lanka, and now it's in the one day. I mean, the way Pakistan team has been performing well, it's a good sign. And there was even schedule coming up that they would be, I guess, in the December, January, they would be visiting Australia for Australia series. So it's a good sign that you are getting more matches, so the girls in green can get more practice and they can compete at the highest level. But one thing again, Ahmed Bhai, because why do we lack in it? Because unfortunately, you don't have much marketing, or I would say much branding of the women's cricket. I mean, you need to enhance more cricket tools for them. You need to at least have that, what you're trying to plan for the under 19 boys, you need to plan that even for the women cricket, I would say, because then you get players who can compete at the highest level. But this girls in green have been performing really well. It's a good sign for Pakistan, I would say, especially for the batsmen. The way they have been performing on and winning against Sri Lanka is a good and a boost performance for the Pakistan in the future.
Definitely it is. Awais, thank you very much. You were joining us on Sports Extra. Asif, now the fact is that we're going to go towards a lot of things coming up, but the fact is that we need consistency there as well. So same case as with men's cricket, that if you want great performances, at least have consistency in the squad.
That's right, and that's why when we talk about the players' individual performance, we talk about that how the captain is playing. And if the captain is performing, definitely captain come up with the confidence. So I think, and why I was talking about Sidra Amin, she's so good, she got 7 boundaries today, but she played according to the conditions. When you talk about that, the player either getting consistency or not, it's really important that either you are playing with the conditions or not. So she came up, she played with the way they were looking forward to get 3-4 runs in an over, and they finished really nicely. Bisma was quite good, got her 16th half century in ODI. So I think it's really important that every player is participating, every player is participating their role. So Pakistan is in good touch, and as Awais said that, we're looking forward to upcoming series. It's really important that if we are finishing on a winning and good note.
Definitely on a winning note as well, and on a good note. Asif, thank you very much for joining us. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. We've got more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for a very special segment. We'll be talking about basketball, and like I said in my introduction as well, a popular sport in Pakistan. One of the few sports that enjoys a lot of following on the grassroots levels as well, where some sports in Pakistan, traditional sports as well, have failed to establish themselves on the grassroots levels or have certain issues. Basketball is one that has got a huge following on both the men's and the women's side as well. These young boys and girls on the college university level are also a huge fan of basketball, and we're seeing some great things coming from basketball this year as well. We're going to be talking about many things regarding basketball in Pakistan and whatever the future is for basketball in Pakistan. And we're very lucky to be joined by an individual who's going to be talking about it all. He's the General Secretary of the Federation of the Federal Basketball Association. And I think we'll hear from him as far as basketball in Pakistan is concerned and what's coming up for this year, because it is going to be an exciting year for basketball. That is what we hope for. And we've been joined by Mr. Odi'S. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum.
Great to have you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
First of all, I would like to appreciate PTV for actually focusing on games other than cricket, and you've given a very good introduction about basketball. It is one of the most popular games at grassroots levels, school, colleges, universities, and we see a lot of potential coming up for this particular game. So I really appreciate PTV for actually focusing on this game.
It's always there. I think at Sports Extra we thrive on the fact that there are all sports that we are covering, some sports even not known to Pakistan as of now, but we try our best. But that being said about basketball, sir, first of all, we understand that we were looking forward to a tournament, but unfortunately because of the political fiasco that is there in this country, and it's very disappointing that because of these certain gimmicks, sports suffer at the end. So that tournament has been postponed.
You're absolutely right. This was a huge activity that we were planning for quite some time. Especially after the turmoil that we've seen with COVID.
Yes, sir.
The sports activities have started opening up, and we were looking forward to this All Pakistan event, which has been postponed for a few weeks, and we are almost ready to give it a start as soon as the situation clears and we have the facilities available. There are 16 teams all over Pakistan that are participating in this mega event, including the departmental teams and the divisional teams. So this was a huge activity. Secondly, we were organizing this event as a mock-up for the upcoming South Asian Games in Pakistan, because basketball is an integral sport. It is an Olympic sport, and we were looking forward to organize this event in a way that it would work as a mock-up for that international event. But well, things happen for a reason. It gave us more time to prepare, and hopefully in the next few weeks when we announce the new date, it will be held with a far better preparation, and we intend to make it a huge success.
Absolutely, sir. Inshallah, that is the hope. I'll be very honest, sir. I am a bit bummed, a bit disappointed about the fact that there is so much talent. There is fantastic infrastructure. Meeting you, coming from you, I believe we've got great office bearers there as well. But it's an unfortunate scenario that we've not had that much of media hype as we should have for basketball than we've had for other sports in Pakistan.
You're right. This is something that we have been asking for. We wanted our media channels and our public sector to focus on sports other than cricket. Unfortunately, this was not the case. However, what we've seen is great improvement in the past 5-6 years. PTV especially has provided a lot of support for basketball, including this event. And we intend to take it to a certain level in the next coming years. Obviously, it will take some time. It is not going to happen in just one day, but it will take us some time to get to a certain level where basketball will become one of the popular sports in Pakistan.
Inshallah. Is it the same scenario that, of course, we need to move towards the corporate sector and, of course, the private sector to come in and support as much as they can? Is it the same difficulty that other sports have faced in trying to convince them to come up and support basketball in Pakistan?
These are exactly the same difficulties that basketball has faced. However, I would like to mention a few organizations that have been very supportive. National Bank of Pakistan and Pepsi Pakistan have provided a certain level of support in the past years since 2017, 18, 19, and at the start of 2020 before COVID. They were working with us to uplift this game and providing us with coverage and sponsorship and support. And we're looking forward to actually bring those all those organizations or the corporate sector back into the fold so that we can start from where we left off at the start of 2020.
Now, with any other sports, the fact is that you can have talent, you can have both the talent on the men's and the women's side as well. But unless it comes to the competitive aspect of it, you're not going to be producing players or producing results. So when it comes to tournaments, like we've heard that this year is going to be a phenomenal year for Pakistan basketball, what we're hoping for, how much are we prepared to increase that frequency of tournaments or events so we can get towards competitive basketball?
Pakistan Basketball Federation has actually given out a whole plan for the entire year that includes not only this All Pakistan Championship, but we are starting with divisional championships at different levels, inter-provincial basketball championships for men and women, interdepartmental basketball championship, national basketball championship for men, and national basketball championship for women. And Federal Basketball Association, which is my organization, is proud to announce that we will be hosting the interprovincial basketball championship for men and women and the national basketball championship for women. This will actually give us a lot of competition. It will involve players from all over Pakistan to come to Islamabad and compete in these activities and help us prepare for the upcoming international events. As you're aware, Pakistan is going to host South Asian Games, most probably within the next year and a half. We're still waiting for the date to be announced. Similarly, Pakistan is also going to participate in the Asian Games, and basketball teams, the nominations for basketball teams and their participation has already been sent. So we're really looking forward to participate at international level. Creating competition at national level and international level will definitely help us boost this game in all the regions.
Definitely it is. Final question, sir. What would you be your message to people there, to all the young boys and girls who have been a fan of basketball, are playing basketball in their schools, colleges, universities? They want to turn up and be pro and be part of this bandwagon. What would you like to suggest to them?
I only have one message and something that I have followed. I've been involved with basketball for over 25-30 years, and there were very less opportunities at that time. All we need to do is to be consistent, keep our focus on what we want to achieve and work towards it. It may take some time, but we will get there.
We will get there, inshallah. Sir, all the very best. Thank you very much for your time in Pakistan. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you. That was the General Secretary of the Pakistan Basketball Federation, Odi'S Zahoor, and as he's mentioned as well, that phenomenal times ahead. All of you young boys and girls, once these tournaments take place, you need to get there, you need to watch basketball, support basketball, and of course, who knows, next time you'd be playing for Pakistan. That might not be far away, but consistency is the key, as sir mentioned as well. Moving on now, we've had a phenomenal tennis Grand Slam event, Roland Garros, but this match that we saw last night was probably one of the most epic encounters we've witnessed in this era. It was Djokovic up against Nadal, the quarterfinal of the French Open, Roland Garros as it is, and it was phenomenal. Nadal, of course, taking the first set, Djokovic making a comeback, Nadal winning the third one again, and then Djokovic almost there, but Nadal just acing him as he could. And elsewhere, Alexander Zverev beat Alcaraz, the young Spaniard, and also qualified. So it's Zverev up against Nadal in the first semi-final, and of course moving on tonight, the other quarterfinals are going to decide the fate of the second semi-final as well. To talk more on this, we'll be having a detailed discussion, but we've got a report on that. Let's take a look and then continue.
Rafael Nadal demonstrated once again why he is the greatest player in French Open history by beating longtime rival Novak Djokovic to reach the men's singles semi-finals. Nadal, going for a 14th title, started superbly and fought off resistance from defending champion Djokovic to win at Roland Garros. To win against Novak, there is only one way. To play your best from the first point to the last, said 35-year-old Nadal, who thanked the Paris crowd for showing him love. The 21-time Grand Slam winner now faces third seed Alexander Zverev on Friday. Germany's Zverev reached the semi-finals for the second successive year after surviving teenage sensation Carlos Alcaraz fight back earlier.
There you have it, the greatness of this Grand Slam as it was. We'll talk more on this. We've been joined by tennis player Ushna Suhail. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm well.
Great to have you on the show. What would you like to tell us about this encounter? I know there's so much to talk about, but Djokovic against Nadal was surely a final before the final.
Yes, definitely. I was looking. I think everyone in the tennis world was looking forward to this match because, as we know, that Djokovic and Nadal are like the legends in the sport, and what the amount of popularity and fame they have around the world with their game, and how like everyone knows who they are. So it was definitely a very entertaining match. I predicted Nadal in 5 sets, but since Djokovic couldn't close out the fourth set at 5-2, leading 5-2, so my prediction slightly went a little bit like up and down. But I always voted Nadal on clay because like the way we've seen he's played his previous matches as well, I think it's phenomenal, and his performance is definitely on clay. Like I think there are very few matches in his life that he's lost. So even against a player like Djokovic, I think it was tremendous how he was able to come back in the fourth set all the way from 5-2 and win in the tiebreak.
Absolutely. Talking about Djokovic's game plan, it was clear that he wanted to play power tennis and try to outclass Nadal. And somewhat he obviously succeeded. But Nadal, truly, we know the greatness that he possesses. He was the better man there, and that's how he won. So first of all, your thoughts about the game plan that both these players went with. And like you mentioned, that had it gone to the fifth set, the way we were seeing things, do you think Nadal would have been able to make a comeback in the fifth one?
I think when it's a situation like this in tennis, that if a match goes to a third set or if a match goes to a fifth set, then I think it's anybody's game to take, and then it's 50-50, because when it's one set all or when it's two sets all, then it means that both the players are playing at a similar level. So, but still, somehow I would give the edge to Rafael Nadal because of his mental toughness and the amount of matches that he's been able to win on clay. So my vote would still have been in the fifth set with Rafael Nadal, but then we all know how Djokovic, what a good contender he is. So you never know. So that's why I say that even in the fifth set, it would have been a 50-50 situation. You can never say there's one guaranteed winner. It all depends on the certain day, on the certain condition, and in what frame of mind the other player is, the physical condition. I think everything matters. But eventually, I think somehow, even if it would have gone to a fifth set, my vote would have still been with Rafael Nadal, considering the track record and how he's been playing all his matches till the quarterfinal stage.
Well, he's up against Alexander Zverev, who's coming with a great adrenaline rush against Alcaraz. What do you think about himself, Zverev, winning that quarterfinal and then now facing Nadal in the semis?
Yeah, I mean, Alcaraz is like definitely the next future of tennis in men's. I mean, the way he's been able to, play tennis throughout the last few months, and the amount of matches he's won and the results that he's been able to give. I mean, even the way he's come back in his last couple of matches, being I think 3-love down in numerous sets and then fighting his way back. Like he's literally on fire right now, and he's like a youngster, and obviously he's at a stage where he's playing some fearless tennis. He has nothing to lose. He knows that he's up against some of the best players in the world right now. So I think Zverev played some of the best tennis of his life.
Right. Thank you very much, Ushna, for joining us on Sports Extra. And as we've just mentioned, that it was a great match to see. But that's all we have time for. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.